I pray nothing more than for more people to wake up and realize how they've been brainwashed by legacy and mainstream media. Elon Musk, he shared this on his X account today. And this woman is discovering the shocking truth about Donald Trump. Our discovery, man, is something that I think you should see.
I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. In fact, I'd rather know the truth, even if it means that I'm wrong. And so with that, I'll say I was completely wrong about Trump. The media played me. They played me really good. See, I was a Bernie Sanders fan. I had the t-shirts and everything because I saw that he actually cared about the people, a real politician who actually cared. And I was going to vote for him until something weird happened. They just kept bulldozing him. And then when March 2020 happened, I thought they were trying to bulldoze him again. And I had no idea why Trump wanted to be president in the first place. But I watched a lot of TV at the time, and the news said he played too much golf, he was a racist, and I watched a lot of SNL, and they made fun of him and his sons. So I just thought he was not fit for the job. And I hate to admit, the more that I watched the TV, the more angrier I got at Trump, and without any really good reason. But I had turned off the TV around 2019. And when March 2020 happened, I needed answers because something was off. I needed to know who was on our side and who wasn't. So I was searching all over online for answers as to what was going on and who was the good guys. So I watched Trump live on the White House news briefings on my laptop since I didn't have TV. Every Monday he went live, and I was carefully observing him. He was straightforward, like a businessman, staying hopeful and optimistic and working with what we had at the time. And I saw the other side completely spin everything into fear and chaos and projections months out into the future. I knew that he wasn't trying to push fear, and I could see clearly that he definitely wasn't a bad person. He was a leader. He was positive. He was forward-moving. He was problem-solving. While the other side was focused on the problem and how to suppress me as a citizen, stifle my life, it felt like they were taking away my freedom. Then I watched the news completely spin what he said into something he totally didn't even say. That was a wake-up call. But around March 2020, I talked to a friend, and he said that Trump was in there for a reason. And he started to let me know what was really going on. And suddenly everything started to make sense. And I realized why Trump was president in the first place. At that point, all I cared about was good people who were protecting my country and my freedom, whether it was Bernie or it was Trump. I was just glad that somebody was on my side. I'll say I had the TV off for about a year when I woke up to Trump being a good guy. A lot of people in your ear, a lot of media, a lot of hearsay can really screw up your logical thinking process.
Definitely
it did
can.
Mine. And I was doing a lot of positive thinking and meditating, so I was able to stay calm even in that difficult situation. I was able to stay hopeful and optimistic because I knew there were good guys. I knew there was somebody fighting for us. I'm sorry to say that this election, I can't vote for a woman, although I really want a woman in the White House. But for me, this isn't about a man versus a woman. This is about who's going to protect our country, our freedom, and the freedom of future generations. Trump is a person who should lead this country. He's made several statements saying, "I'm returning power to you, and the best is yet to come." He also said, "I can't tell everybody what's really going on." When it comes down to a leader of our country, we can't look at outer appearances. We have to look at their character. Trump is a businessman who worked his way up to the top. He didn't drug deal. He didn't people traffic. He's never even drank alcohol his entire life.
I'm sure he done had him a cup once he did that. I don't know if he said that. I'll call a cap. I'm sure he done did that. But just to interject very briefly, her experience is very similar to mine in the way that I was watching sound bites and clips. And finally, when I seen Trump speak in full, and then I went back to the same place where I was getting my sound bites and the clips, I realized how blatantly they were lying on Donald Trump. And even as somebody who was against Donald Trump then, I had TDS. I had the infection version of it. Even then, me being against him, I'm finding myself defending him against the people, legacy media lying.
but everybody calls him a racist. I can't recall any words that he's ever said that were racist. And then the whole grab him by the pee. If you watch that clip, there's a lot more that's going on. In fact, there's been quite a lot more that's been going on that we don't really understand. Put your fear aside, put your judgments, put your anger aside, and think clearly. Who's fighting for your country? Who's fighting for your rights and your freedom? This isn't about man versus woman, and this isn't about the person who smiles the most or giggles the most. It's about the person who addresses topics, solves problems, and protects freedom of our country. Take another look at him, because you're missing it. You're missing being alive during the greatest president in world history. During one of the greatest events in world history, there's some new technology coming that's going to change everything, and Trump's going to help make sure that we get to the other side, that we get to a world where we can build and collaborate with less corruption, with less lies and manipulation, with more logic and clear understanding of what's really happening in our world. Finally, the shadows, the lies, the deceit, those days are coming to an end. Please think clearly about who's the deceitful one and who's the one who's on your side. I used to get triggered too. It's okay to say you're wrong. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we pivot when we have new data and a new understanding, that we put away fear and anger and we think logically and critically about our future and who we want leading it. For me, there's only one clear choice, and that's Trump.
Huge shout out to Elon Musk for sharing this video. I resonated with this video personally based on my experience. Now, if you want to see or hear about my experience from hopping off of the Democratic plantation, you can definitely wait to the very end of this video. It usually pops up as one of the main screen videos, but in that video, I was explaining something very similar. Again, just to reiterate what I was talking on earlier, I was somebody who really did not like Trump. And I was an emotional zombie because I couldn't give you any educated points on why I didn't like him. I was just told to dislike him, and my skin color and my culture and everything identified with disliking him. Hold on, I gotta hear him close my door. Anytime he was brought up in a conversation or any topic, anything of that nature, my emotional zombiness would just click on, and my bias automatically, kick in, and I won't want to hear anything he has to say. But, during that Uber ride, which you'll discover when you watch the video, what I'm talking about, during that Uber ride, when the woman was pretty much, checking me about not having a reason on why I think Trump is all of these different things I used to think he was. I then went back home and started looking at CNN, looking at the talking points, and everything was everything I wanted to hear. And then I watched him live and I realized, wow, okay, even though I still had my biases, I was liking some of the things he was saying, but my bias wouldn't allow me to admit it. And then I went to CNN and then MSNBC's, and I was listening to how they chopped up what Donald Trump actually said. Changed my life. But she's right, man. This is not about man versus woman. This is just about wrong and right. Who's actually somebody fighting for America, somebody who's willing to put America first. And I think if you're somebody with common sense and you look at both of these candidates and you look at the track record, the track record speaks for itself. The beautiful part, which is also unfortunate in this way that we had to experience it, is we have experienced both of these administrations. So we get to go, which one was better? I know the much clearer choice. Somebody says, my wife went from hating Donald Trump in 2016 to waking up this morning and saying, God, I hope Trump wins. Once reality sets in, things become much clearer. A lot of people think like her. The problem is now what's stopping Democrats from stuffing, I can't even say that because can't get this video, but y'all seeing where we was going with it. Can't get this video, take it down. Her words are extremely powerful. Americans are waking up everywhere. Mandy just rolled along during their lives and sucked in the disinformation and lies being fed to them. They were trained. Now the truth is hitting them in the face. Reality is setting in. The media played me. I'm sure the media played you good. Yeah. Let's read some more. She says she's right about the media spinning everything Trump did into negative, whether or not It actually was. That's how they wrote it. And yeah, that's the part that really just grinded my gears, because it was no matter how much positive things Donald Trump would do in a community, no matter how positive of a situation you would see him in, and mainstream media just refused to report on it. They're not gonna report it, and then they're gonna spin and say he said something negative. I done seen a man say something so positive and it literally gets chopped up in a negative. It's crazy. But she mentioned new technology that would change everything, and how Trump was there to help us get to that stage. That was pretty interesting. Slight cryptic, freaked me out just a little bit. Not gonna lie, I'm wondering. I'm just wondering. But yeah, the whole country supports him. Somebody says, hold on, beautifully said, yeah, key point, turn off the TV. That was the key point too. Honestly, I haven't watched TV in a minute.